Well, if you watched my last video, you would see that I took apart a Cold Steel Frenzy 2, and now I need to put them all back together. So this is going to be fun. Something that I did miss from the first one is that, yes, this has a D-shaped pivot, which is neat. And you can see this side has a D-shaped hole with the flat side hanging fully out. This side isn't at all. So this is actually kind of the side that I'm going to start working on here. And man, yeah, this has got to be Delrin. I mean, I see where it's tapped. There's what looks to be metallic, but they might just be inserts. I don't know. Either way, if it is just steel, then it's quite light. All right, so this probably seems crazy to you for me to start by putting screws into the clip area on on the show side, but there is rhyme to my madness here. I just want to anchor that down really quick. Well, not really quick, but you know, in general. Alright, so I got the stop pin. Slap that up at the very top here. And then there's kind of the pivot guy there. And here's another piece. Okay, I'm going to do my best to put the pivot in here with it Well, he just straight up don't fit that way now, do we? So it looks like I do have to start basically on this side here. Well, alright then. Let's go ahead and do that. So I shall pull this screw out here and set that scale aside. You can see that this little pin right here actually holds this back plate in place here. And I'm going to secure this side with at least one of the screws, but yeah, why not? We'll just do one for now. Don't really need it all snug or anything like that, but yeah, here we go. Now I'll take that D-shaped pivot and put it up where it belongs. And there's the blade stop triad thing. Here's kind of a lock bar pivot. There's that extra pin. And here's that thin film of a nylon washer. Then I always like the flattest side to interface with the blade. So there you go. If I remember right, I might not be remembering right. Let's see. Okay. Well, there went the pivot, but that's easy enough to solve. Okay, so yeah, it's up on top there. That's the way that's supposed to go. So, now I can reassemble a whole bunch of crap because I knocked it off. Starting with this little holding pin for this guy. Come on, buddy. You can get in there. You know you want to. If you can believe it, these are much less stressful than trying to put together some slip joints, but there are some tricks to that too. I'll probably get to that at some point in the near future. Alright. So before I do that, actually, I do want to get the interface pin actually correctly snapped back in place. There we are. Now, set that guy down. And then little plastic duder. Nylon, whatever you want. Alrighty. And then we got that bronze washer there. Cool. So this guy shouldn't be too difficult to try and get into place. Just kind of push on the back lock a little bit. Alrighty, so he is seated in there correctly. So, next up, we got another bronze washer right up on the blade here. And this little guy right here. Okay, from here, it's actually a little interesting how to try to get everything to fit in there correctly. What I think I might try to do is put the blade into the closed position. And then what you're worried about is the pivot actually pushing out of the backside instead of fully interfacing on here. These two pins are generally pretty darn easy. Helps if it actually lays flat. That's why I didn't actually put the clip on there. Otherwise that'll raise it up and gives you a lot of problems there. But okay, so now that that's done, I would like to get the pivot back in place here. Please. Like I said in the last video, that's technically a T9, but it's fairly deep too, and my smaller T9 is actually in use elsewhere, so if I don't have to go fishing for another one, I won't. And luckily, I didn't have to. So, okay. Right now, everything's riding on that screw, so don't take that out yet. You really want to anchor them quite a bit on either side here. So that's what we're going to do next. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier or if it was in the previous video, but this hardware is not magnetic, so it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not steel, but it kind of basically guarantees that it's not steel. Actually, and it's certainly not titanium because almost nobody uses it for hardware due to, or at least first party wise, because it's quite difficult and costly to properly what's the word I'm looking for? Properly harden it so that you don't end up really jacking it up, and or just having the hardware just malform and make the whole knife all janky. So there's anything that I can point out with this design that's interesting with the construction is that the pocket clip area is integral to actually holding the knife together. So that's why I wanted to slap that one in there really quick just so I could keep that bolted down. But I now have everything else in place, so I can put that pocket clip back on with these longer screws here. One of these isn't fully. I wonder exactly what I did. Did I end up screwing up some screw placement? Don't fully think that I did. He's just not biting on that side. Interesting. Well, that's worrisome, but I'm sure I'll figure that out at some point here in the near future. Okay, to loosen that, I am going to need the T9 here. Pretty darn sure it's not a T10, right? No, T10 will fit. Well, then we'll go with that. I actually need my larger driver for this bit because it's 1/4 inch. But, yeah. So yeah, that's basically how you end up doing that. There is a little bit extra with the amount of tension screws and everything that ends up being here. If you're trying to center the blade, that can sometimes be fairly time consuming because you have to basically loosen all of these guys and tighten the pivot down and retighten all of these guys and see which combination actually works correctly for getting them centered. But as far as having them back together and good to go, there you go. You can also slap some pivot lube in there, which is probably a good idea in general. This guy still had some KPL on there, but yeah, you could probably use just a touch more. But at least it's easy enough to drop them in the top here because it does actually wick down through. So there you go. There's putting together a lockback triad lock without any liners. As always, thanks for watching, and if you've actually made it this far and suffered through with me, I'd appreciate you, like, comment, subscribe, anything like that. Really helps me kind of grow and get in front of some more people's eyes. So, yeah, I appreciate y'all, and have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo.